So there's some huge news in the cruise world. A new titan of the seas is taking shape, and it's a big one. We're talking about Norwegian Cruise Line's newest and, get this, biggest ship ever, the Norwegian Aura. It just hit a massive milestone on its journey to launch, and believe me, it's promising to completely shake up the whole vacation experience.
So on April 16th, something pretty special happened. The Aura had its float out. Now, if you're not a shipbuilding nerd, what does that mean? Well, it's that magical moment where the ship, with its exterior hull finally finished, touches water for the very first time. It's a huge deal. It goes from being a massive construction project sitting in a dry dock to a real ship floating all on its own.
All right, so here's what we're going to get into. First, we'll talk more about that float-out ceremony. Then we're going to get into the numbers on this new giant. After that, we'll take a little tour of the incredible stuff you can do on board, see where it's sailing first, and finally, we'll zoom out and think about what a ship like this really means for the future of travel. Sound good? Let's go.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture this. We're at the Fincantieri shipyard over in Monfalcone, Italy. This float-out, it's so much more than just a ceremony. It really marks the end of one absolutely massive construction phase and kicks off the start of the next one.
And even though seeing this giant floating is seriously impressive, the work is, it's far from over. Now everything shifts to the inside. We're talking about thousands of workers starting the colossal job of outfitting the entire interior, basically turning this massive steel shell into the incredible floating resort that people are going to experience. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the specs. Let's see just how spectacular this ship really is. So, how big are we talking? I mean, really big? The Norwegian Aura is, and this is official, the largest vessel in the company's entire history, ever.
To put that into perspective for you, it's nearly 1,130 feet long. That is longer than 3 professional football fields laid end to end. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's an absolute giant.
And yeah, it's got the weight to match that size. The Aura tips the scales at around 170,000 gross tons. Seriously, this isn't just a ship. It's more like a moving island made of steel and glass. And all that size, it's basically built to house a small town. You've got over 1,970 staterooms, which means the Aura can welcome around 3,880 guests. And that's not even counting the huge crew it takes to run the whole thing. But all that size, it serves a very specific purpose. The president of NCL, Mark Keselowskis, he said the Aura is all about creating this elevated, multi-generational vacation. And look, that's not just corporate speak. It's a real strategy in the industry. The goal is to design one single place that has something for everyone, from the kids all the way up to the grandparents. You know, to make it the ultimate family getaway.
Okay, so with that whole something for everyone idea in mind, what can you actually do on this floating resort? Let's take a look inside, shall we?
The ship is broken up into these really incredible zones. We're going to take a quick virtual tour of 4 of the most exciting ones, and we'll start with what sounds like the heart of all the action, a brand new concept they're calling Ocean Heights.
Okay, just picture this. Ocean Heights is this massive, sprawling, 3-story open-air complex that's just designed for non-stop fun. We're talking dueling water slides, a ropes course, a rock climbing wall. There's even a fun fair. It's basically the adrenaline hub of the entire ship. Now, for those of you who really want to connect with the sea, there's something called the Ocean Boulevard. This thing is incredible. It's an outdoor promenade that wraps a full 360 degrees around the entire ship. It's lined with outdoor bars, restaurants, and these stunning infinity pools that literally make you feel like you're floating on the edge of the ocean.
And this right here, it's a perfect example of that multi-generational approach we were talking about. For families, you've got the Kids Aqua Park, a really cool mini water park that's just perfect for the little ones. And then for the adults who are looking for a quiet escape, there's the expanded 18 and over Vibe Beach Club, way up at the top of the ship, loaded with infinity hot tubs and all sorts of exclusive amenities. So everyone's happy. Okay, so once this amazing ship is all finished, the big question is, where's it going? Let's check out its very first season, which, right now, is set for 2027. All right, here's the plan. The Aura is going to kick things off on May 21st, 2027 with its maiden voyage, a 7-day cruise in the Mediterranean. Sounds amazing, right? After that, she'll make the big 14-day trip across the Atlantic to the U.S., arriving in her new home, Miami, on June 10th. And that's when her first Caribbean season officially begins. And once she's based in Miami, she'll be sailing these 7-day trips to some of the most beautiful spots on the planet. Guests can pick between an Eastern Caribbean route, hitting places like St. Thomas and Tortola, or they can go for a Western Caribbean itinerary with stops in Belize, Roatan, and Cozumel. Pretty incredible choices.
Okay, let's just zoom out for a second. The launch of a megaship like the Norwegian Aura, it's not just about one boat. It's a signal of a much bigger trend in how we're all starting to think about vacations.
You know, a really key takeaway from the Aura's design is this intense focus on the outdoors. All those features, like the ocean boulevard and the massive pool decks, they aren't just cool amenities. They're part of a core philosophy. The whole idea is to break down the walls between you and the ocean, making the sea itself a central part of the whole experience.
And this commitment to the experience thing, it goes all the way to the outside of the ship. The art on the hull is actually being designed by an acclaimed artist named Rosie Woods. She's famous for these huge, vibrant murals. So her work is going to give the Aura this really unique kind of glowing identity that blends amazing art with this incredible piece of engineering.
So, when you look at it, the Norwegian Aura is a floating destination all by itself. It's packed with more thrills, more ways to relax, and more choices than ever before. It really points to a clear trend in travel, and it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. As these massive ships become the destination, not just the transport, how is that going to change the way we see the world from the sea?